everyone! Welcome to the Chaotic Wholesome Talk Show. It's going to be a little bit of extra chaos today because that's just where we are in life. How are you all doing? Oh my goodness, I just removed myself from the screen. This is great. I just broke everything as soon as we went live. GG self. David, they can see you. Tell us, what's going on, who is you, and what is we doing here?
Hi, welcome to my talk show where I don't have a co-host because for reasons that will be remain undisclosed. But welcome to the Chaotic Wholesome Talk Show where every week, sometimes, mostly, we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better GM, how to be a better player, how to be a better human being, and yes, we can tell you how to do that. All with a focus on intersectionality and inclusion. We absolutely can. Look, we've made enough mistakes, enough blunders that we can offer advice on how to do it better next time. Like how to make a bigger mistake, how to make bigger blunders.
How to make a bigger mistake is like a very me thing to do. At the office, we had a Chinese food at the office, and they came with fortune cookies. And the fortune cookie that I got said, avoid habitually making things worse. And I'm like...
Like, I've been seen.
I just came here to have a yummy time, fortune cookie, and I honestly feel so attacked right now. I don't know how to handle this. How dare.
Yeah, how dare you come from my neck like this?
I am back. My video exists again. Sorry, y'all. You try and do a minor edit on the fly, and you just break things sometimes. And like I said, it's going to be that kind of night. Hello, everyone. I am your other co-host, Kay Purcell. You can find me at KDamnFear on Twitter, but if you're here, that's probably where you came from. Quick announcement. I don't even think I told you this, David. My Thursday is going to be real busy, so I am not streaming video games this Thursday. Instead, I'm streaming tomorrow, Wednesday, and I get off work a little bit early tomorrow, so the video game stream might start a little bit early. Probably some Pokemon, maybe some Stardew Valley. I don't know. We'll see. I'm also kind of tempted by the new Devolver game. It's taken back. Anyhow, it looks really good, and Devolver is high on my list after the tweet that they made today.
What tweet did they make today?
Someone was being a prick to... someone was being a prick on the internet. I know, it's shocking. Never happens. A woman who works for Devolver called him out and was like... Y'all be aware and you should block this prick. And the guy immediately screenshots it and tweets at Devolver and is like, are you cool with one of your employees? No, someone else like screenshots it and adds Devolver and is like, are you cool with one of your employees going after someone? And Devolver's like, nah, fuck that guy. Like, oh, yeah. That was the tweet. Nah, fuck that guy. So, tomorrow, starting early in the morning, a new episode of the Emergency Power Podcast will drop. I think that's a secret episode. I'm actually not in that episode, but you should listen to it because it's freaking amazing. An incredible side quest happened, and it was amazing. Speaking of, Leslie's in chat. Leslie was also not in this one, and they're just a little salty about that. Their poor character got ejected from what would have been the side quest. So a video game stream tomorrow as well. And then coming up on the 1st into the 2nd is Mercy Road. Yes, it's the last episode. Coming up the 1st to the 2nd is Mercy Road, which is a 24-hour D&D charity stream by GM Saucefire and a number of amazing people, some of whom are in this chat right now, many of whom you've seen on this channel, including Candace the Magnificent, Urban Bohemian, David Tilstra, Calamity, and there's more. There are more. It's such a great lineup. So, Holly Conrad.
All of our friends are there.
All our friends are there. I believe both Rex and Tyran will be there. I've lost track of who's all playing. It's a lot. So be sure to check that out.
Don't waste your time watching WrestleMania this weekend. Instead, watch Mercy Road.
Yes, you were... Leslie was banned from the hot tub.
I mean, there are good reasons to be banned from the hot tub and bad reasons for being banned from the hot tub. I know this because I've been banned from the hot tub for both of those reasons.
Leslie was banned from the hot tub because their character was not a caster.
That seems a little gatekeepy.
Yep.
I didn't ask how big the hot tub is. I said I cast fireball. Like you think it's hot enough in there? Well, we're about to find out.
I am trying to remember how to do shout out commands. Y'all, I've apparently just forgotten how to stream, but there we go. We're kicking off these shout outs. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us tonight. This will be the first time you'll get to live watch Mercy Road. It's a very good time. It is a very good time.
I like watching.
And for a very good cause.
Late at night when Sauce is like
getting loopy
on his like 12th wind and barely hanging on. That's a good time.
I have unfortunately I will not get to watch all of the loopiness live because it is one of my really good local friends' birthdays. He is an April 1st baby.
Yikes.
So we gonna be causing some mayhem out in Manhattan. And I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time.
But yes, I'm also, y'all, I only learned about this because they were doing a TTRPG takeover week. If you like podcasts, I don't care which one you listen to. If you listen to podcasts, check out it's called Good Pod. They are a podcasting app. You can use it to listen instead of Spotify or Apple or whatever you use. They do really cool takeovers, and you can actually have conversations underneath the podcasts. And yes, there goes Leslie with the link. But we have been doing our best to promote the Emergency Power Podcast through that this week, and they've been very kind to us, and they just gave me a follow on Twitter, so that's pretty cool. Thanks, Good Pod. But okay, David, we had a D&D Direct today.
Yes, we did. And my first and most important observation on I'm on Good Pods trying to find EPP so I can put it in the thing. Featured list, can't miss TTRPGs. There we go.
Oh, this is cool. I don't know if this is visible to chat to anyone who's not me. It just says milestone achieved. Cheese and Krakens watched 3 consecutive streams this month and sparked a watch streak. I haven't seen that before.
What?
Thank you,
Me
Leslie.
neither. What? Come on, Good Pods.
It has to. You have to do emergency space power space podcast. Or click the link Leslie just dropped in the chat.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to come up with the link.
Leslie got us covered.
Yep. Thank you.
So, shout out in chat. Did any of y'all watch the D&D Direct? Now we have to wait. There's a pause. So, I know David did not. I'm throwing you under the bus here.
Yep.
You watched
but
summaries.
I clicked on it and started like going. So the first and most important observation I made about the D&D Direct is if you look at
It is nice to see our favorite chaotic horny in the spotlight.
And it's funny because long after I discovered Iffy in the TTRPG space, I went back and I started listening to podcasts. I didn't listen to podcasts before. I've only been listening to podcasts for like a year. Yes, I know I'm late. You are welcome to come fight me. And I was listening to Behind the Bastards, where it's the dude who talks about not just like the worst people in history, but why they're weird. Like I think it was Stalin who would like put tomatoes in people's pockets and then push them up against a wall so the tomato would crush. And it's like, oh man, that's so quirky and cool. It almost makes you, forget about the 21 million people who died. And just an X-ray. Anyway, the point is, the dude has people on as guests, and one of his very early guests was Iffy, and Iffy was like, "Yo, this is really weird," and I forget the but I was like, "Is that our Iffy? That's our Iffy." Before Iffy was TTRPG Iffy.
Mm-hmm.
This is before the pandemic and everything. And Candace is here.
Candace is
Yeah,
here.
Minecraft. Okay, so I
Minecraft
get into the
D&D.
call.
So there's Minecraft Dragons already, and there's Minecraft Dungeons. I mean, I guess it made sense.
I get into the call. We're getting set up. I am telling Kay about the terrible time I had at the bar last night, and then she's like, "But listen, you're not suffering enough. Here you go. Minecraft Dungeons and Dragons." You can't just take random words and slap them together. It's not okay.
I mean, yes, you can. Dungeons and Dragons.
So,
if David could reach through the internet and across the country and smack me for that, he
Little
wouldn't, because he's a gentleman and he would never put his hands on me. However,
I will set your effigy on fire. Yes, I have several. So for one, the children hunger for the mines. Like let's get that out of the way. The number one game was made by that one asshole. Thankfully, he's not involved anymore. And it's like, hey kids, do you want to dig down deep into the earth, where even the canaries are like, what are you doing? Well, here you go. Oh, and I'm gonna make it look terrible. Like it's going to be the ugliest low bit 640 by 480 game in the history of games.
I'm going to interrupt your rant to just break you. Vivian just said Tom Clancy's Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm taking a minute and I'm taking a sip.
I would play that. I would absolutely play that. It would be hilarious because, like, government conspiracy is not outside the bounds of Dungeons and Dragons. Neither is dropping a nuke on a city. So, like, you juice a fireball smell.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow D6! Leslie, you are too much. If you ever
That's
wonder
pain.
where all of the punny episode titles for Emergency Power comes from, right there. It's Leslie. It's Leslie. Right there. Right there. Or I think there. There. I forget where it is on y'all's screens. But it's a Leslie. Maybe it's there. I think that way.
We.
Yes. Doing Loth's work, yes. So yeah, speaking of, we're getting the final Dritz novel, apparently.
Yep.
Dritz and I have to look every time because I never say it right.
I am going to work Rainbow D6 into the thing that we are working on. I don't know where or how, but it is going in the notes and it's going to end up somewhere.
So I get in Neverwinter, they are bringing Minzo Barazan into Neverwinter, and that is the underground, I can verb, it's not dwarf, drow, it's the underground drow city that Dritz is from and has escaped from. Salvatore doesn't care. Yeah. Yeah. Hey Tyran, welcome on in. His check's clear no matter how you pronounce it.
Right. I will say, one writer to another, my man, I need you to take care of yourself. Like maybe one less chili cheese fry, and
Oh, I'm gonna sidetrack us because, okay, I think most of y'all know I am a big fan, and I know this is like basic fantasy bench territory, but I don't care. I'm a big fan of Brandon Sanderson. So apparently, there was a whole article just done on Sanderson. A whole reporter followed him around for like a week or more, met all of his family, and basically wrote an entire article about like, this guy is boring and uninteresting, and he's not authentic. I spent all this time with him, and I feel like I never got to meet the real guy.
Have you never met it?
And like, again, I think most people in this chat know my feels on religion, especially organized religion, especially major organized religions. Like I have a hard time with all of it, and he Mormon.
Right.
Like he's the most boring of weird, scary religions. Yeah, it was a whole Wired article, and this guy just basically went on for pages and pages about he's not interesting, which is really shitty because Sanderson doesn't open himself up a lot. Like, he's very private, so this is one of the first things like this done for him. Sanderson, the class frickin' act that he is, went on Reddit and was like, hey y'all, I know a lot of you are, upset by this and defending me, and I appreciate that, but like, don't worry about it. I feel like this guy was looking for a juicy story and he couldn't get the story he wanted out of me, and so he didn't know how to tell the story. And one writer to another, I've been there, and it clearly wasn't the right fit. And like, outside of this, I respect, like, he's a good guy. I respect him as a writer, so just leave him alone. It's cool. I'm sorry I wasn't interesting. And I'm like, this dude's a class act.
Right. But he was born in Lincoln, Nebraska. Jot that down. Went to BYU. One of his roommates at BYU was Ken Jennings from Jeopardy. Like, animated GIF of wall paint, Ken Jennings. And then now lives in, and I quote, American Fork, Utah. I don't know what American Fork is, but like, Mormon missionary, did a mission to South Korea. Like, he didn't even go anywhere like dangerous for his mission. Like, they didn't.
To be fair, most Mormons don't.
Listen,
most Mormons go to like Arizona for their.
Oh, listen, Mormons are real big on colonizing Africa and South America.
They are, but I'm saying most Mormons don't actually go that far.
True, but they could have airdropped him into like.
Wait, Tyran knows American Fork. Literally, The Sandlot was filmed there.
It's
Tyran dropping the knowledge. An American knife. Jester Jedi, we're so glad you're here.
Wow. But yeah, like sight unseen. If you showed me a picture of this guy and it's like, and I had no idea who he was, and you were like, this guy lives in Provo, Utah. Tell me about his life. I'd be like, ooh wee, he gets real risky on the weekends and has a Diet Coke. Like,
hey, like JD, welcome on in.
When he's really like in the streets tearing it up, he throws on like the old like Beatles cassette and moves side to side in his living room. Like, come on, Meow. Come on, what did this writer expect?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did he expect him hunched over a typewriter with like a what's the name of that movie? The one with Al Pacino, with a Scarface-sized pile of cocaine next to him, like
Yeah.
blood dripping down onto the
No, okay,
typewriter from
to
his
be
nose.
fair, the amount of books this guy turns out in a year, a cocaine habit would explain it.
Yes, yes, it would. However, you're not gonna go to his house and see the pile of cocaine
That's fair.
and the blood everywhere. Like, he's not gonna have like a bunch of like Mord Sith in like red leather outfits patrolling his house, waiting to beat the stuffing out of him if he doesn't sit in front of. Like, none of these things are on the menu for this guy. Stephen King, absolutely. Like, I could see Stephen King like sitting down at his desk, like there isn't a pile of cocaine there anymore, but there's like a skeleton, a real human skeleton, hanging across the way, and he just sits there and talks to it. And so he'll be typing, and then he'll be like, "Oh man, I'm stuck here. Bob, what's your opinion on this?" I get it. You know what? You're right. Usually you have terrible ideas, but that one's a good one. And then back to typing. Like nothing. No one can tell me a thing and be like, Stephen King did this, and I'd be like, nah, that's outside the wheelhouse. I mean, he's in a band. He's in a band with like Amy Tan and like a bunch of other like big name authors, and they're terrible. And if you ask any of them, like, be like, hey Steve,
Hey, Jason.
Is your band any good? And he's like, no, we're dog shit. If you ask Amy Tan, so how's your band? He's like, Stephen King got no rhythm. This man has no groove. He's terrible. He's awful. Like he bought a radio station. Like, Stephen King owns a radio station in Maine. Now, a radio station in Maine is a big like qualifier, but he's like, you know what? Radio station. Go get one.
Well, I'm just going to give a quick shout out here to Domo Kame. And congratulations.
Hey, Jason.
Domo Kame just started a new job. Congrats. We're so happy for you. But yes, so be a class act. I can't say that I've met Sanderson, but I was covering Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con on a press pass, and he was doing a signing. And as I walked by, I was taking a photo of the thing, and the security's like, hey, you're not supposed to. I'm like, I'm press. And they looked, they saw my press pass. He's like, photos for the press are fine. And like held up his book and smiled for me. And I'm like,
oh, that's nice.
That's nice, yeah. So I will say I have tried very hard to read the Legend of Drizzt series, and maybe they get better after the first book, but I can't get past the first book. But the Drizzt, the referenced Drizzt fan fiction in the first campaign of the Godplane was just
right.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Mwah. I made two of our characters wake up in the bodies of Drizzt and Wulfgar. And one player had no idea what was going on, and the other's like, oh my god, this is the coolest, oh my god. And it was joy.
Now, this is a small tangent, but
What, tangents on this show?
right? But
We don't do that.
So the phenomenon of, well, you just have to get through this part and then it gets good. Because you said, I don't know if it gets good after the first book. That's too much. That is 400 pages. That is an entire, like, 6-hour session of reading a book. If you're flying through it. Like, we're not talking like a tech manual, a philosophy book. Like, we're not talking about Immanuel Kant, and try to follow him up his own ass. We're talking about, like, I'm reading for fun. 6 hours of not having fun? What? So I could maybe have fun? It's like people have recommended me TV shows, and they're like, okay, listen, you got to get through the first season, and then it gets good. And I'm like, how many episodes in the first season? They're like, 26. And I'm like, okay, how many, how long is each episode? And they're like, oh, it's an hour. And you're like, so you want me to watch 26 hours of TV before it's even a little bit good? And it's like, pain.
Parks and Rec just skip the first season. JD
I've
Lady
heard
says.
that about Parks and Rec. I've heard that about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've heard that about It's Always Sunny. Like,
Bonanza says that Final Fantasy XIV takes 30 hours to get good. Jester says it sounds like when I talk about the Clone Wars cartoon. I will say, okay, I have a very spicy opinion, and I'm always afraid to say it online because I know that someone will show up and do something bad to me because people have strong feelings, and I encourage you to have your own feelings on this, and if you feel otherwise, great. I am not here to yuck your yum, and I'm happy you enjoyed. I don't enjoy David Tennant. I have to say that very, very, very quickly because, like, he was excellent in Good Omens. I very much enjoyed him in Good Omens. I have not enjoyed him in anything else. And when Jessica Jones came out, I was like so excited for it because I'm like, heck yes, girl power, let's go, badass lead femme. And I'm like, this isn't doing it for me. I don't know why, but it's just not, it's a little too Kristen Stewart for me. And I understand the character, so I understand why, but it's not doing it for it. And I was like, no, just get to episode, I forget if it was 4 or 6. They're just like, wait until, get to this episode, and then a thing. And it was David Tennant. And I was like, this is my problem. Okay, this is my problem with Doctor Who. Grumble, Kay's hot take. Yes. This is my problem with Doctor Who. My first Doctor was a time agent. I watched all of Torchwood before I watched any Doctor Who. And I was like, oh, is this what Doctor Who is about?
No.
And then it was not. And part of my dislike of that, and it's not that I dislike the actor, I just don't enjoy most of his performances because he's kind of like a cartoon character, right? And I was like, I'm not here for this overacting, one step below liar performance. It's just not what I'm here for. Jessica Jones has weird white lady vibes. The sex scene with Luke Cage feels away. Yeah.
That said, Luke Cage, the actor who plays Luke Cage.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Luke Cage.
Like
is...
I don't even swing that way, but that mountain of chocolate.
We didn't. So part of the. I was like, David, we discussed this earlier, so I'm bringing it back around. I was like, David, during the pandemic, I'm like, David, I'm gonna show you a thing. Because you don't mind my saying that you are all about the thighs, right?
No. Yeah, go for it.
David enjoys the thighs. I know that David enjoys the thighs. And during the pandemic, that video of Iffy crushing a watermelon with his thighs circulated, and I'm like, David, I'm going to make and ruin your day at the same time. Soundtrack for Luke Cage was mwah, this is true. I do need to plug Tennant's performance in Hamlet with Patrick Stewart, which was excellent.
Also, he's excellent in Broadchurch. So, like, Broadchurch suffers from the sleepy town BBC production curse of everything's moving too slow so that when something like big and impactful happens, it's still like really like sleepy. Like it's still a bit of a snooze, and so it doesn't have the impact that it should. And yet David Tennant just shined in Broadchurch.
Sorry to keep.
Yeah, they're.
I've a two-parter. I'm sorry.
David Tennant has a great deal of range, and people forget that like he can actually act instead of doing like the I was in musical theater in college, acting.
I ruined a friend's day because they're like, "What do you mean? What do you mean you don't like his acting?" And I'm like, "It's a step below Liar Liar," and they're like,
Yep.
"You're not wrong, and I hate it." I've only seen one episode of Broadchurch and was laughing at how many Doctor Who actors were in it. Yeah, the BBC starts like...
The BBC has like 20 actors, and they just cast them over and over and over again at everything. It's
one
like,
of my favorite things is like when Sherlock BBC was a really big deal, and then the British Being Human, not the shitty American Being Human, like you started seeing crossovers. And like the werewolf from the British BBC, Being Human, was introduced to Jack Harkness in Torchwood as like a hookup. And then he was also in Sherlock BBC, and he's like, "I saw a hound," and it's like, "You're a werewolf." Oh my god. Like, it's just...
And there's an element of like people don't realize how much repeat performance that people get in the I can words.
Verbing is hard.
So in your like sort of like below the line like extras, and not like people in a cafe who are pretending to talk while a scene happens, but we're talking about like the guy on Law and Order who plays a uniformed cop who says, this happened at 41st and 3rd, and then like walks
kind of
away.
one-line characters.
If you work in the industry or you watch enough TV, you start to notice that it's only about 20 of them. It's like British TV, but like a lower level. Because the guy who's that episode, who's the cop in this episode of Law and Order, is the corpse in the next episode of CSI. Is the homeless bum that they talk to for information in Criminal Minds. Like it's like the same like 20 people over and over and over and over again.
Okay. I'm going to steer us back on track because we got to talk about the big thing to talk about from the D&D Direct. The virtual tabletop. We got to look at it, and we watched Iffy play with it.
Yeah. So.
Not Zelda.
Zelda soon. No. So, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. One, I do not believe it's going to look as cool as the demo because Kay's been around the block. We have been consumers of both media and software for a long time. It never looks as cool. It's like the ads for mobile games. It's like this isn't like Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't gonna like parachute from an F-16 in this game. Like, yeah, like they're like no. So for one, it's not gonna be as cool. And so Kay's like, here, check out the virtual tabletop. I feel ways about it. And I watched the little section of the D&D Direct recap. Those are the words connected. I got it. I got there eventually. And I am of the same mind of Kay. So tell us your opinion.
So it looks incredible. It is crisp, and I'm actually going to say, and I think this is what I saw, and I went back and I watched it, and I think, like, you roll your D20 to attack, because we saw a little bit of the encounter mode. You roll your D20 to attack, and then you roll your attack damage, and you, like, click that attack, and the damage dice pop out of the guy you hit, or of you if you're being hit, and it like rolls the damage dice and shows you. Like, that's a really cool incorporation. I don't think I want to use this virtual tabletop. I don't actually really like minis very much. I am much more a theater of the mind and or like flat paper map and tokens type person. And this is beautiful. I don't actually know that I want to use it.
So, I have many opinions. One, I'm sitting there watching it, and then they click to roll, and then the big old fucking dice rolls across the god, and I'm like, I saw this in Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Thank you, 2K Games, and 2K's the distributor. You guys know the Borderlands series, like the people who made. Thank you for that, because now I don't need it anywhere else. I don't need a big old fucking die rolling across the middle. Like, I remember when Beyond D&D introduced the dice rolling graphic, and I clicked on it the first time, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't. Stop! I don't want it. Give me the number." Like, we use.
Do you know what is bananas? Do you know what is bananas about the Beyond D&D dice rolling though? It has physics built into the corners, so if your dice hits the wall, it actually, like, it's not just an RNG, and that's a little bananas
Gearbox.
to me.
Gearbox. Thank you, Gearbox, for making Tiny Tina's Wonderland, so that again I never gotta. So for one, I don't like if we're in a really like intense, like very serious moment, I don't want this gigantic fucking dice just bouncing its way. Oh, no, thank you. The virtual minis look cool as shit. Like, they look really awesome.
The landscapes are beautiful, the lighting effects are beautiful, the magic effects are really cool.
And okay, so I will say this about minis in real life. Minis in real life can be cool. However, I am a broke bitch. And so much of like I really try to envision unique settings for each of the locations of each of a fight. So like, you might get in our home game we did this, where they went from bar to bar looking for someone, and each bar
That freaking night.
Right, and each bar was built very differently. And so like, I don't want to build a set for one fight and then go to do another fight in a bar, in a tavern, and then look at the set that I built and go, I guess I'm gonna do it there again. Like, and again, if it's your home base, if it's someplace right? Tyrannosaurus says bar hopping sounds like my last Monday. But it's like, I want I want the players to inhabit a if they're in a second tavern, to inhabit a second tavern, not to just go, okay, just pretend this is not the exact same fucking bar that we just fought in.
Now, it does sound like there's a lot coming with this GTT. Number one, they said they're uploading the entire monster manual to it.
Cool. Very cool.
There's also the ability to take it apart and edit it and download other community assets, incorporate them, and I imagine it's going to come with, probably 6 different taverns, because everything starts in a tavern. They're aware of this. But yeah, here's my thing. I am so picky with my characters that I don't really like minis, because I can never get a mini that looks exactly like my character.
And another point, despite how much it may have served me professionally. I have resisted the and I have resisted learning certain types of software. I don't know Photoshop. I don't know After Effects. I don't know any of the photo or video or audio editing programs because I don't have the tiniest artistic bone in my body. I had a grade school teacher say to my parents in front of me, I would fail your son in art, but we're not allowed to give grades below C's. So your son gets a C.
I mean, I have received a MS Paint map from you, and I very much understood what you were going for, and that's more than a lot of people.
Yeah, I can convey an idea, but like an artistic delivery is a different. But the point is, the idea of having to learn essentially a it's like Blender and what's the other 3D?
Oh, Maya.
Yeah, like I have to learn not just like a 2D Photoshop, but a 3D Photoshop, so that people can spend, half an hour in this place and then move on, and then I gotta delete it and start from scratch, or at least move a bunch of stuff around. And then here's the other thing: we've used what, 4 or 5 different virtual tabletops.
Few. I know my favorite.
There has never been a virtual tabletop we've used where we didn't have to stop and go, oh, okay, you gotta, if you click this, and then you go into this menu, and then you gotta resize this thing, and it's just like, oh no, move it, I'll get it. There is already so much like math and other stuff that breaks the flow of the game. Wrestling with this bit of software, and wrestling with it for your players, because your players aren't going to know it as well as you do. No.
So, since I was just yelled at about it in chat, my favorite is owlbear.rodeo, and that is the actual URL, even though it's not linking in Twitch, because apparently Twitch doesn't believe that .rodeo is a domain. It is. It is the most lightweight virtual tabletop I've ever used. You drop in a map, it does dice rolling for you. You can add a fog of war if you want. It is just... Wait, math in my D&D? No. I love it because I don't want to mess with a bunch of stuff. I want to throw in a map, or they have pre-made just grids on a background color, and you can drop in the tokens and be like, cool, here you go. You can draw, like, here's a wall, here's a thing, you're done. Go. That is my personal favorite. I will say real quick, Rex did bring this up, and I do want to point it out. One thing that's really cool is if there's a token in the upcoming D&D VTT, if you have like a mini, they showed it where she's like, I got a wizard. There's a wizard mini sitting here. I have a character sheet. You can drag and drop your character sheet and just attach it to that mini. And that's pretty slick. That is pretty cool if I wanted to play with minis.
Yeah, Rex Verdi has it right. NPCs, plots, villains, building combats, voice acting, and now you want me to draw maps too?
Okay, I will say, David, I need to make sure you have access to this. If you haven't played with Dungeon Alchemist is really cool. It's a video game, kind of, that just creates maps for you. It's editable, it's very slick, it'll just like generate a thing. I improve, and I thank you for the hydrate. I have done the thing. But yes, there's allegedly, again, one of the things they specifically said about this virtual tabletop, though, is they said, we want to build these things. We want to build sets and pieces, but we want you to be able to take them apart and then put them back together however you want. So it does sound like it's going to be very customizable. You can be like, I want to take this building and I want to drop it on this setting. And it sounds like there's going to be a whole lot of assets that you can just grab wholesale, or you can then tinker with to make it the perfect map if you are Adam from the Emergency Power Podcast and custom make beautiful maps with lighting for us. Even though we're a podcast and no one gets to see it but us. Some people are extra, and we appreciate those people. I always paid my DMs in smoothies, Taco Bell, and awesome Christmas presents. Oh, JD, you're the best.
I think one of the big, like, cool things from it, which you would think would be standard, but isn't in a lot of the virtual tabletops that we've played with. Ribbonanza says, so where do the microtransactions come in? Well, you want a really cool mini? You want your really cool mini to be animated? I'm gonna need a solid, crisp, who's the asshole that's on the 20?
No one help him.
I don't remember.
No one help him.
It's not Jackson. Oh yeah, it's Jackson. Why do I think Jackson's on the 10?
It's fun.
Not
I just enjoy. There's joy for me in this.
Now I gotta Google it. Who? What president? I at least know it's a president. Is on the $20 bill, because Lord knows I don't have a 20. It is Andrew Jackson. They need to change Jackson. Andrew Jackson, put Mahalia Jackson on there. Like, ooh-wee. Then who's on the 10? Thomas Jefferson. Anyway, I don't know why this became a thing that we need. Wizards of the Coast will require a crisp Andrew Jackson, a brand new minted Andrew Jackson for, the expanded whatever assets for the cool minis, and maybe just, and you probably need to have like the licensed copy of the Monstrous Manual, so like, you got to buy that.
Well, no, it's going to be, I mean, here's where it's going to be tied to your D&D Beyond subscription.
Right. So yeah, they're going to need that crisp C note for your D&D Beyond. But they got to double dip. Like Destiny makes too much money quadruple dipping for anyone else to not at least double dip. Because Destiny's like, hey, you want to play this game? And you're like, yeah, I want to play this game. They're like, all right, $70. And it's like, 70 whole dollars? And they're like, yes, American. And so you fork over the $70, and they're like, oh, you want to play like the cool stuff? You need the expansion. And it's like, you just stuck me for $70. And they're like, yeah, but we're going to stick you for another $30. So you hand them your $30. And then you get in, and they're like, hey, your armor looks cool, but you know what would be even cooler? If it was like the color that you wanted it. And you're like, yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be swell. And they're like, all right, if you want that and emotes, cool emotes, you're gonna have to slide us some more money. And you're like, okay, dope, here's that extra money. And they're like, oh, by the way, there's a battle pass for this season. We're gonna need another $15. And I'm just like, I'm not religious, y'all, but I'm gonna need some holy water to deal with that. Cause four times they just did my pocket. It's starting to feel like home invasion.
Well, let's talk about what WizKids is putting out. Because I'm a little nerded about this, I'm not gonna lie. There is a temptation here. WizKids is putting out life-size D&D monster replicas in the form of a mimic and a baby owlbear. And the mimic is 20 inches tall. And the baby owlbear, which is really cute in the I'ma murder you way, is 11 inches tall. And I kind of love them both. If WotC wanted to get their hooks in deep, they'd include minis for all the books you bought on D&D Beyond prior to launch and soak people who are coming in on new books/subscriptions, says Rex. But yes,
Yeah.
those figures look good.
They're gonna hit us up for that dough.
So here's the baby owlbear is really cute. The one that hurts me, and they didn't show me enough of it to know if I need it, even though I'm pretty sure I need it. They're putting out an articulated displacer beast. And y'all, I like cats, and I like cosmic horror. So panthers with tentacles are 100% my crack. And they didn't show me enough of it to know if I need it. I do want a cosmic kitty, yes. I suggested something to Sauce, Mercy Road microtransactions, and I can't wait to see if he does. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I mean, he could just be like, capitalism, you want to be happy? Give me money. Am I going to give you happiness? No. But you are going to give me money.
Basically. Yeah. I need to see more about this displacer beast. Speaking of Cosmic Kitty K, we need a cargo plushie for the 3-year podcast. If you listen to the Emergency Power podcast, that makes a lot more sense. But cargo is wonderful, and I have a Stardew Valley farm where I'm playing Soul, and the weird monster guy, Krobus, who lives in the sewers, is now Soul's roommate because they are. Welcome in, Neon Saline. Thank you for hanging out. Because they look and they say things very much like Para from the Emergency Power podcast, and my farm cat is named Cargo. That's all. So, 50-year documentary of the 50 years of D&D is coming out. It is being done by Joe Mangiello. I never say his name right. Never, ever.
I hope he includes the part where Gary was in the basement cheating on his wife with a bunch of men.
Like you do.
That, as one does.
As one does. And then we got a look at what some of the future books are going to be about. Now, I learned a thing, and I don't know if this is news to the rest of y'all. I don't know if I'm just out of the loop. I am unsure. But apparently, so there's the new book that came out, which is a heist module, which I might have to run because I really, really like heists. I don't know if you all know this, but I've run a couple of heists and I really like them. They're one of my favorites. Keys from the Golden Vault, Tales from the Golden Vault, one of those. There's 13 adventures. One of them takes place in the place where the D&D movie takes place. The D&D movie is actually somewhat in that module. I'm watching David process.
Well, I'm also trying to figure out how to pronounce Joe Man.
I think it's just Mangelo, yeah. But I say it wrong every time. I want to articulate more than I think I need to.
I mean, is it the British approach instead of saying like worst?
Yes, the movie is set in the Worcestershire sauce. The movie is set in Forgotten Realms, but it is very specifically inside the prison that the D&D movie and that the adventure in Tales from the Golden Vault is the same prison that the movie is taking place in.
Ooh.
So that's kind of a cool little. I didn't know that. I don't know if I also have they made the prison canon when the script was written, had it in Icewind Dale, and then it appeared in an Ack Inc. game. Look at me learning all this. I have, like, tried to not know all that much about the D&D movie. I know that they put out the character profiles on D&D Beyond, so you can go to D&D Beyond and see the stats for the characters in the movie.
Wow.
But I didn't go and look that up because I'm kind of like, I don't. So I learned in this D&D Direct that the sorcerer is a wild magic sorcerer, and I'm like, oh, I'm suddenly much more excited for this movie because wild magic is so much fun. It's gonna be wonderfully terrible. It's gonna go wrong at the best, worst moment.
So after many years, because like, you know, we've all consumed trailers over the course of our life. Yeah, Neon Celine, it's Manganiello.
I'll say it wrong even if you tell me. Boom. And I immediately say it.
But so I really stopped watching trailers for movies that I knew I was going to watch because they shifted how they did trailers to we're just going to show you the whole movie. And it's like, if I'm going to watch it anyway, then I'm just going to watch the movie. Mm-hmm. And so the D&D trailer drops, and I'm like, oh, they made another D&D movie, and it's, you know, supposedly not going to completely suck this time. I'm going to go see it. And if it wasn't for this talk show, I still would not have seen the trailer. But then I watched the trailer, and I was like, Michelle Rodriguez is in it. Sold. Michelle Rodriguez as a barbarian. Double sold. I'm definitely gonna be there. Ooh, K, ooh, So we go to this nerd bar called Scum and Villainy.
Oh, I know that one, yes. That was expensive.
It's actually not bad. Like, you get a mixed drink in there for like $10 or $11. It's bananas.
Okay, so when I had friends trying to get me to go, it was you had to pay like $50, you got 2 hours, and you had to order off a select, like you were guaranteed 2 drinks, but it was like you got 2 hours in the bar, there was a limited menu, and you got to pick 2 drinks off that, like, but it was like, yeah, anyhow, sorry.
Yikes.
Continue.
So we're in there.
Yes, it is also a TTRPG system.
Things are happening. It's a bar. It's a nerd bar. And this woman is standing at the bar, and they're talking about the D&D movie. And she's like, oh, Chris Pine is so dreamy. I saw him at Jimmy Kimmel today because, of course, some tourist was in from out of town to go see one of the late night talk shows, and she saw Chris Pine. He's so dreamy yet. And then she looks at me with a straight face and says, I wasn't into Star Trek until I saw Chris Pine as Captain Kirk. And it took all of my fortitude not to go to prison last night, because how would, and of course her man is like, listen, don't judge the entry. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna judge the entry. The J.J. Abrams constant lens flare, Chris Pine Star Treks are what got her into Star Trek. Ooh.
But we can hope. We can hope that maybe she's moved on to better pastures, better series.
I am not here to gatekeep anything. Like, if you want to get into something and you want to learn about it and you want to, then please do so. But do not look at me with a straight face and be like, listen, Chris Pine is the face of the franchise, and that's all I care about.
Yeah, if she moved on to DS9, then like we can only hope, right? We can only hope. Also, but when it comes especially to the D&D movie, better Pine than Pratt.
Yeah, ooh, yeah. Ooh-wee. Ooh, yeah, a superior Chris is in that film. And again, not knocking Chris Pine. He's great. Like everything I see him in.
Chris Pratt.
So for one, crisp rats. Oh man, that's gonna stick with him forever. For one, Chris Pine looks 15 years older than he actually is, and not in like the like you are a melting popsicle way, but in the like, oh, you are a distinguished older gentleman, um, and you know I will come and sit on your knee while you sip cognac, and you'll be my sugar daddy. Like, look, don't. I know you're ace, but don't sit there and tell me that Chris Pine is not attractive. Okay, he's a good-looking man. He got the salt and pepper beard. He got the salt and pepper shadow. Like you good-looking man. And again, he looks 15 years older than he actually is, in the best possible way.
Chris Pine looks like he's going to grow up to be the next George Clooney.
Right. Yeah, he got that like that George Clooney like, I'm very charming, but I don't take myself too seriously. But also I come from money.
Salt and pepper shakers, is that what we call them these days?
Yeah. Pepper. No. I still wander around the house at like 3 o'clock in the morning and say that to myself.
If you all did not watch the holiday Christmas caper, where we spent 3 hours making fun of Elon Musk for charity and raised quite a lot of money, nearly $3,000 for charity. Please go watch Peppa.
Yes, absolutely.
But number one, I am ace, and yet I am very gay for everyone in that movie. All of them. Every single one of them. Don't care. Number two, we got a tiefling. We got a tiefling, and I'm a little sad that her eyes aren't weird, but I love the tiefling. And now there are magic cards for them. They're making magic cards of these characters, which is pretty cool. What I've seen the cast is dead on for who they're cast as. Like, Pine as a bard. Okay, so here's the thing. I knew that this D&D movie was going to be, if not good, watchable, which is miles above all the other D&D movies.
Right.
When they announced, and I would love to know who did this so I can buy them a drink or a Hershey bar if they don't drink, whatever is your thing. But I remember when the trailer came up and it said, Chris Pine is Edgin the Bard. And we're like, yes, but what's his name?
Right.
Like, who got that past Hasbro? I would like to know. Well done, sir, madam, or thems. I'm just so happy. I'm so happy. Because, I mean, clearly, that is what he's doing. I'm glad that's what he's doing in his free time, but what's his name? So the next campaign book, because we got Dragonlance, and then we got Keys from the Golden Vault, 13 heist adventures. I really need to run this because I like heists. I like heists a lot. And next up, we're gonna have Big B Presents Glory of the Giants. So we're gonna get a deep dive into some giant lore.
Of the Giants. Oh, to circle back to the movie one more time.
Oh.
As much as we like rail against excessive monetization, I recognize that companies need to make money. They need to make profit. And I encourage them to do it in a good way, in a way that respects the people who love the product. And I can't believe I'm going to give Wizards a compliment. But they do a good job of like, hey, we made this D&D movie. Here's stuff you could take. Well, we made sure that it's actually set in the world. Here are the books that are part of the world that it's in. Hey, you want to put these characters into here are character sheets for them. And then we also own Magic the Gathering, so of course there's going to be a Magic the Gathering tie-in. And so we put the Magic cards from D&D into Magic the Gathering, and we put movie cards from the movie into the D&D cards, which are in Magic the Gathering. And it's just like, you know what? You know, it's good. It's real good. Like that is how you do a tie-in.
When all of the new OGL stuff was going down, we had a lot of people in the chat and on Twitter who were like, I want to give you all of the money for D&D things. You just don't make the stuff I want. Where's my Owlbear Kigurumi?
Right.
Do you know how many Owlbear Kigurumis would sell?
They would sell out immediately.
Owlbear plushes, like, give us, like, you literally are owned. You're Hasbro. You make toys. You have a toy manufacturing company.
Yeah, pitter patter.
Make.
Where's Todd McFarlane when you need him?
Toys.
I actually like a Todd McFarlane Beholder.
But yeah, they're making a cool articulated beholder, and it's huge, and its eyes turn around. You can turn its eye stalks all which ways. Yes, Tyran says giant lore and giant lore and giant lore.
And being a nerd is cool now. But for those
Thanks
of
for
us,
hanging out, Jester.
Yeah, thank you for coming by. But for those of us who are bullied, for those of us where our bullies later on became employees for the CIA and for Guantanamo Bay because they already had the expertise, we weren't allowed to, like, out loud enjoy the things that we enjoy. But now we are adults with adult money. Well, some of us have adult money. Some of us are broke bitches. But I remember walking into Jeffrey's Comics, which is a comic shop in Gardena. It's very old. Jeffrey Sr. and Jeffrey Jr. work there. It's a great place if you are ever in, not LA, California. If you are ever in California and you are a comic book fan, if you are north of Sacramento, you get in the car and you drive the 10 hours down to Jeffrey's. And you get in there, and I swear to God, the comic book guy on The Simpsons is based off of Jeffrey. Though, do not get it twisted, Jeffrey is a great guy. Him and his son are really great, really warm, very welcoming. There was a replica Mjolnir that had just a shitty build quality. It would look better if you 3D printed it at home. On sale for $200.
Saline wants to know how far it is from San Diego.
Oh, let's see. Well, that depends on time of day and what day of the week.
Tracking it.
You can make it in. You can make it in a John Wick 4 stretch of time. Like, you can make it in 2.5, 3 hours if you go in the middle of the night. But they had this shitty Mjolnir, and it was $200. And I'm like, Jeff, my man. He's like, what's up? I'm like, do people really buy that piece of shit? And he's like, I can't keep them in stock. Like, I get like 5 or 6 of them a month, and them things disappear. I'm surprised that one's still sitting. And I come in the next week. I come in next Wednesday, because Wednesday is New Comic Day. And I go in there, and that motherfucker gone. Like, it's gone. And I'm like, yo, Jeff. And he's like, yep. Someone definitely made off with... Now it's been years now, because this is before the first Thor movie. That's the other thing. This is before the first Thor movie. Because it's been years since I've been to Jeffrey's. Jeffrey probably doesn't even remember who I am. But they were buying $200 terrible build quality like figurines then. So dear Wizards of the Coast, you could sell a $350 like 2-foot by 2-foot beholder.
Dear Wizards of the Coast.
Right. Like
just.
I have consumed thousands of hours of anime. Thousands. I have watched hundreds, literally hundreds of different series and movies. And they're selling anime figurines for like $400 from anime I have never heard of. So if the Japanese, and like, it's not even like, you know, women in like bikinis. It's just like a guy.
Yes.
Ooh, an
owlbear beanbag chair with weighted wing blankets.
Etsy creators, it is time.
Or even just like a coiled up dragon. Like a beanbag chair that's just like a dragon coiled up with a mountain of gold coming from between him. Like, come on.
Or a gelatinous cube.
All of the gelatinous cube things, please.
Right. Like you, so you know those, I'm dating myself here, but they used to sell these things where it was like these little like ice cube trays, but like in patterns, and then you poured in this powder, and then you added water, and then you mixed it, and then it set, and then it separated into a thing that was like jiggly. If they sold that for gelatinous cubes, and you could sell two types, you could sell the edible one, and you could sell like the non-edible one that's like toxic, please don't sell this to kids.
Yeah.
And like if you go on TikTok, there's a shelf where it's animated, for lack of a better term, and so you press a button and the supports like spin, and then the shelves like move around. You mean to tell me that you can't get like 5 of them off of Alibaba and then make a whole bunch of gelatinous cubes and stick them on there and then press the button, and then the gelatinous cube is just like
Also, can we talk about adorable little pet harnesses that make your dragon, your dog or your cat look like a dragon, or have little
Right.
displace your beast hanging out thing, like pet clothes? D&D nerds would buy all of the pet clothes.
right.
All of the pet clothes.
Just they're Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, Hasbro. It's
Hasbro.
right there, right. And listen, you've had some bad ideas. You killed Optimus Prime in like 1985 and ruined
That was
my life.
traumatizing. It was traumatizing.
Ruined my whole shit. Ruined people so bad that they had to rewrite the ending of G.I. Joe. So you've made some bad decisions. It's time to make some good decisions, Wizards of the Coast. Give us the like swag that we want. Like in the direct video, they had the D&D stickers on the Alienware laptops. Thank you, Dell. I'm glad Wizards of the Coast is sponsored by Dell.
Hey, Piper.
But I'm sure somebody wants those. But like a $2 vinyl sticker, great. You could sell a $1,200 giant like, and they have the Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering tie-in, and apparently there is the One Ring. There is one card out of the entire production line that is the One Ring. So if you guys are smart enough to do that, then make a $1,200 smog on top of the pile of gold that's like, you know, this big, And if you made 1,000 of them, you would get an order for 5,000.
Yes, stationary would be so cool. But,
Yeah.
Coming more in 2023, Phandelver and Below, the Shattered Obelisk. Which we've seen there's been some adventures with obelisks popping up, so we're apparently going to learn more about all of that. Q4 this year, we're going to get Planescape Adventures in the Multiverse. And apparently, y'all, Vecna is coming back in a big way. So, David, you wanted that cosmic horror. You're going to get some Vecna. And I know of all the people who are excited, Gabe Hicks is ecstatic. Ecstatic, because Gabe Hicks loves Vecna more than anything. When I played in the Team Liquid charity game where he was a GM, and I was playing Roxy, and like Roxy just really only knew about the Flying Spaghetti Monster. She's a paladin of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. She really only knew about that, and we didn't realize we were on a cruise of the gods. And you know, someone was like, hey, just a word of advice, stay away from Vecna. And Roxy's like, who's that? And like, I watched Gabe's brain explode in real time. It was wonderful. I didn't expect to break a GM that way. I have broken GMs in other ways. But that's all it took. Romance game with Vecna. I mean, if you are playing with Gabe Hicks, just about anything is romanceable, and I guarantee you they are weird and freaky enough that they would be all into romancing Vecna. So, you know. But then, Q4 2023, we're going to dive into something that I am very excited about. Because we have used these things in our games. We are getting adventures around the deck of many things. We are going to learn what are the multiverses behind each of these cards. We are going to learn the stories. And it is 100% going to be amazing. I am so excited for this. Why can't it be Q4 2023 right now?
I mean, give it about 15 minutes and it will be.
Time is really doing the thing. So yes, for our going back to the Cookie Caper heist, the holiday one-shot charity that we ran, one of the donations was you could give someone a deck of many things cards, and it got spicy. It was very fun. New Vecna content is a choose-your-own adventure romance novel. Again, I have played weirder visual romance novels. Yes, that's where those came from. Hey, Kato, how are you doing? I miss playing with you. Kato plays in our home game. Kato has experienced way too much of Roxy, the paladin of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and encourages my chaos. So, Dream Dark Lord Daddy. I mean, I did watch the Black Dice Society. There were a lot of hookups or attempted hookups with Dark Lords. You'll need to play Sucker for Love if you're gonna smooch Eldritch Horrors. Yeah, I think I've mentioned this. I don't know if I mentioned this on this stream. Friend of the stream, David Tilstra, who is amazing, played in the Cookie Caper heist. Christmas Cookie Caper, that's where it is. Was in Waterdeep Tales with me and Candace the Magnificent. He had never heard of one of my favorite games, which is Boyfriend Dungeon. And if you've not heard of or played Boyfriend Dungeon, it is a roguelite where you go into a mall and you hack and slash your way using weapons, and then you find more weapons, and when you get the weapon and you leave the mall, the weapon magically transforms into, does a magical girl transformation into a dateable character. Boys, girls, cats, non-binaries, it's great. And then as you level up your relationship with that character, the weapon gets stronger when you go back into the dungeon. So, not only have new characters come out, but friend of this channel and star of our home game, Judy, who played, if you watched The Job Heist, which is on my YouTube, played Gala. She is a good friend of mine. She's the voice of one of the characters. She's a freaking voice actress in that. I'm so proud of my friends. They're all awesome. But Boyfriend Dungeon is on sale right meow. It used to be on Game Pass. I'm not sure if it's still on Game Pass.
It is not on Game Pass, unfortunately.
Ah, heck. If you get the DLC, you can hear my friend Judy. She's one of the late game characters, though. But focusing, David Tilstra only knew he was playing it on Valentine's Day. He's like, I don't date, I am awkward, I am uncomfortable with romance stuff. I know nothing about this game except that it's a dating sim, so I'm gonna play it. He didn't know there was a hack and slash element. So he's like, what? I get to do this? Wow, okay, this is a weird setup. Oh. And I was watching him and my heart was both so full and so broken because he's like so stressed out by the decisions that he has to make. And then he like spent the night with one of the characters and woke up and the character was gone. And he's like, oh no, I moved too fast. I had a real connection with character. Now I fucked it up and now I have to go on a date with someone else so I can level it up. This is too much. I don't like this.
Listen, dating is stressful.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't do it.
Both Kay and I don't know how y'all do the dating thing.
Especially you poly people, like multiple
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
Like respect, but nah. Respect,
like you
but
win
nah.
and then you go back to the well. Woof. That's a lot.
So, speaking of tie-ins, the Red Wizards, which are bad guys in the D&D Beyond movie, which we haven't seen yet, obviously. Well, most of us haven't seen. Some of you might have seen it. I'm not sure. Red Wizards are gonna have their own story in 2025. And also, the Red Wizards, the main antagonist of the D&D cartoon was a Red Wizard. So they're like starting to tie it all back, and they're putting out a D&D adventure with Venger, the antagonist of that show, which is very, very cute. And then the League of Malevolence, which I won't say too much more because in a home game, David and I are playing through right now. We are playing through Wild Beyond the Witchlight, which is my himbo bard is just making everyone's lives interesting. But there's the League of Malevolence is in Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and they're getting their own adventure.
Ooh.
More is coming with them. So yes, I am very excited. Derek, what do we do when we fall off the horse? We get back on. Sorry, Marie. I'm not a professional gymnast.
My
love of Zoolander knows no bounds, y'all. I am happy to say that our third co-host has arrived. Say hello to Gilmore, everyone. He has just woken up from a nap and is full of murder. Don't let the sleepy eyes fool you. He will kill us all. So
It's funny because I had not seen Zoolander before, and then Kay was like, "What do you mean you haven't seen?" And she sat me down, and we watched Zoolander, and it was just repeated psychic damage for 1 hour and 40 minutes, or whatever the runtime of that movie was. Because, hooey.
Zoolander is my I've had a terrible day and I need a laugh. So I'm going to sit down, watch a stupid movie, and have an alcoholic beverage. That's what I put on. Zoolander is
Wait,
just my like happy
you drink
place.
alcohol?
I drink alcohol, not me.
Oh my god.
Not me. Us keeping a secret from you was the best part of the watch party. The dash
Yeah.
of Bowie.
Yeah. Did not expect Lord Bowie to show up, but there he was.
Yep. We had it every so often. I get to fill David in on a key piece of my movies that shape my personality or my understanding of the world, and inflicting Zoolander on him was one of them. The post E3, we are exhausted. We should have been asleep 3 days ago, yet we are somehow still on our feet. We are going to eat pad thai and consume an entire handle of whiskey. Don't recommend it. And I inflicted the live action made for TV Generation X movie onto him. Which I've done to 2 people. I've made exactly 2 people watch that movie. And if you, like, you should watch it, but you should know that it is painful. 3? I told you should watch it. We didn't sit down and watch it together, did we? Or was I that drunk? What, Gilmore? Ugh. Small man told you. Okay, it's different to tell you than to sit down and be like, nah, we going
the
in.
Pain. The absolute pain.
And then my favorite, which absolutely, it was fine until we reached the end and there were no consequences. Empire Records.
Yeah.
Yes, for those of you who don't know, this is Gilmore. He's just about a year old. He is named after Gilmore and his glorious goods, and he is incredibly sweet and incredibly affectionate, but also full of murder, like all kittens.
Cato asked, is there any focused topics for today, or are we just shooting the shit? Today we are talking about the D&D Direct, and all the things that Wizards of the Coast announced in the D&D Direct today, and we covered
we're like at the end.
Salvatore needs to take care of himself, and how they have not like Hasbro hasn't made the cool toys and figurines.
They're getting there. They're getting there.
They're getting there, but
they're getting there.
They haven't made it. They haven't made them yet. What other important things?
The virtual tabletop looks amazing. Don't know that I want to use it.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to use it. But again, I understand that I am not the target audience. I don't know if I said so or if I said it in my head and then it never came out. But the ability to measure distance, like at one point they like click a point and then drag it, and it's like, this is 26 feet, and I'm like, there have been many virtual tabletops we've used that did not have that feature, and given the fact that Fireball casts in a circle, it's probably a good feature to have. And like I get it because like
we have not filled Cato in on the most important announcement of the entire Direct. Minecraft Dungeons & Dragons. There is nothing like seeing a square beholder.
I don't
Wait,
think
that is real. Yes, that is real.
There are a few things in life I hate more.
That was a fan
than...
meme. Nope, that's real. That's real.
Yeah, there are a few things in life I hate more than the both block and texture combination of Minecraft. It is hideous. It is a sin against design. This is something that can only be concocted by the most like devious and hateful minds. And yet, the children yearn for the mines. They want to go back. 100 years ago, they were underneath the earth, grabbing fistfuls of coal. And now, they want to. Also, they want to apparently drive trucks in Europe because Euro Truck Simulator is a thing.
And they want to be power washers.
Fair. I mean, but don't most of us? Maybe not all of us.
David, because I torch is if it's not in reach, I want everyone to see the rubber duck that I sent you. I sent David a care package just before my move, and it was full of a couple cool things. And I love sending David a couple just crimes. Just a couple terrible things for David's life are occasionally necessary. So there was a bag of turkey dinner jelly belly not jelly belly beans, candy corn.
Thanksgiving
dinner
candy corn.
Candy corn. Have you eaten those?
No.
I'm so sad.
No.
So sad.
Ribonanza says children want fulfilling careers that also pay well. A true fantasy.
This is why we play Stardew Valley.
Yeah, the idea of owning property and turning a profit with
Marrying a
with your
sewer
hands.
dwelling monster, shadow monster.
I mean, listen,
That's what some
one
of
day
us
I
do.
will find a woman who has that dream, and then I'll be set. No, so. So here's the thing. So
David, just like a-
So two stories here. One, I am full rubber ducky on Twitter. Thank you, Kay. The reason is because someone decided many, many, many years ago that I had a thing for rubber ducks, and people started giving me rubber ducks. And it has been a consistent theme ever since. Every single ducky themed thing I have in my life, I neither purchased nor asked for any of them. They just show up. And it is delightful because I have an army of rubber ducks. Do I have enough rubber ducks? No, but I do have I have like a platoon. I need a brigade, but I have a platoon of rubber ducks.
We'll get you there.
Yeah, and so Kay was like, "This cursed rubber ducky." Here it goes. The other thing is, I have not watched Frozen because there's a gap between when I was helping to raise my niece and nephew and when I am helping to raise my writing partner's kid. And Frozen came out in that gap. Have not seen it. I'm probably the only person left on Earth that has
I've not seen it. Though I know the song, but I don't know the actual lyrics. I know the Google Translate lyrics. Where do you know this, David? Have I not sent this to you? This incredibly talented YouTube performer takes, and she did it with the Frozen song first, but she's done others since. She took the song, wrote out all the lyrics, put them into Google Translate, translated them into like Spanish, and then Korean, and then Italian, and then all these languages, and then back into English, and then recorded herself singing those lyrics.
Yikes.
And it's the case of like with Google Translate where it's mostly there, but the best part is like she's singing, and it's like lit white snow on the mountain tonight, and it's like, okay, fine, this is close enough. And then it gets to the chorus, and she goes, "Give up, give up," and that's all I want is give up.
So, if you have not watched Ted Lasso, I suggest watching Ted Lasso. It is an excellent show. You might cry a little bit. I'm not saying run out and get an Apple TV subscription. I don't want to encourage bad behavior. Um, and I'm not saying pirate it. I would never say something like that
We would
on a
never
hot
say that.
mic. But watch Ted Lasso. It is an excellent show. There is this. Kay, you'll love this because there's karaoke. But I'm watching it, and a friend of mine is on the phone. She's having a bad day, and she's like, "Listen, I just need you to sit down and watch some Ted Lasso while I clean my kitchen." I'm like, "Okay, I can do that." And so there's a point where they're at a karaoke bar. Woman gets up and she starts singing, and like the lyrics come out, and she's like, "You recognize that, don't you?" And I'm like, not even a little bit. She's like, "Really? You don't?" I'm like, Turns out it is the song from Frozen. The song from Frozen. And I'm like, how am I supposed to recognize? And she's like, it's been everywhere the whole time. Like, you could, like, go out to a park and throw a rock. And but in the time it takes the rock to get to hit a child, the child will be singing the song. I'm not saying throw rocks at kids. Throw softer things at kids so that you don't get sued. And JD Lady is correct. Find a friend with a subscription and hang out.
Yeah.
Much like the Pokemon Company, we want you to go outside and exercise and make friends. No, I specifically said, don't throw rocks at kids. Throw softer things
at kids.
Now, any geologist wants to weigh in on what is and is not softer, that's a whole different thing. That is outside of my purview.
But I need you all to know that I was at the store and they had a bunch of little rubber duckies, mostly Disney rubber duckies. And I'm like, I bet I could torture David with one of these. And I find Superman. It's a little Superman rubber ducky with the little, and I'm like,
Dope.
That's kind of cute. And then they had like a Jasmine, and I'm like, that's kind of cute. And then I see the Frozen, and I'm like, here we are. Hey, Faison, how you doing? I'm like, this is what I send. Because the Superman rubber ducky, you can kind of, but like that's sitting on David's desk. Someone comes in, they're like, what's that? Also the hot dog.
She sent me this gelatin candy hot dog that's edible, but it's not a hot dog. It just looks like Kay sent me a box of psychic damage.
I really did.
Box of psychic damage.
I was like, I was in a store and they had this little plastic bag like this big full of rubber duck drinks, and they're little, like not even well-shaped rubber ducks with like a little screw on the top, and they're filled with some kind of sugar liquid.
Yep.
And I look at this and I pick it up and I take a picture, and I am halfway through the text of, David, you are very lucky that I have some self-restraint, or else. And I turned it over right then and saw that it was $3, and I'm like, delete text, puts in basket. But yes, I love sending David food crimes, and it is literally like a gummy bear hot dog with a gummy bun with gummy strands of ketchup and mustard, and it's terrible. It can't be good. Have you eaten it?
Actually, here's the thing. Since more than one person insists that I stream, and that the streams are coming, I will have a Cursed K food stream.
Those can be, if you ever need to do a fundraiser.
Yeah, they could be really,
donation goals of every
yeah.
time, there could be a donate of you have to blind pull out one of those candy corns.
Because I still got the bag of candy corn.
Y'all, the candy corns are a crime against humanity. Like, there's a turkey candy corn, and that's apparently fine. And there's a stuffing candy corn, and that's apparently fine. There's an apple pie, which is apparently not bad. There's a green bean candy corn.
Green bean casserole candy corn.
Green bean casserole candy corn. That there's a bunch of stuff in that should not be a candy corn. David, are you one of the people who already believes that candy corn just should not be?
Mm.
Excellent. This is even better than I thought it was.
Yeah, because like, who is it? Is it like it was Herb? Herb was like, candy corn's delicious, and I was just like, huh? And it was just like, like I needed a fan in that moment. Clam decanes. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Yes, we need to do some kind of fundraiser where donation rewards or David has to eat terrible things. I grudgingly accept that people are allowed to enjoy candy corn. Candy corn is delicious. I am candy corn agnostic. I'm not going to sit there and just nom a whole thing of candy corn, but like, I don't mind them. I did make sugar cookies and put candy corns on the top because I thought they were cute, and that didn't ruin it for me. So there's that.
I'm completely making up the statistic, but at least 3 wax figures are replaced every year at the Wax Museum on Hollywood Boulevard because people take bites out of them. And the people who take bites out of them are candy corn enjoyers. It is permissible to enjoy candy corn. It's just never going to be me.
All right, hold on. We gotta do this now. This is create a new poll. Which is better?
Which would you rather have, candy corn or razor blades in your apples? Because I'm going with apples.
We got candy corn or circus peanuts.
Yikes!
Get in there and vote. Or as Brennan Lee Mulligan would say, get in the comments. Sorry if that was loud. I choose death, says Face.
Right! There's no right answer here. I'm gonna make this a riddle in a D&D game and be like, listen, you gotta pick one. He was like, well, I'm rolling a new character.
What is your name? What is your quest? Which would you rather eat, candy corn or circus peanuts?
Peeps. Peeps is also on the list of like...
Peeps, I can't do Peeps. Peeps is... Do you know they made... Y'all,
Peep
speaking
soda.
of food crimes. Yeah. Peep soda. It's soda. It's Coke or Pepsi that tastes of Peeps.
And nothing, and I repeat, nothing should taste of Peeps.
More people prefer candy corn to circus peanuts.
Yep, it is Peepsy.
They didn't call it that, though. That's the problem. It's literally Peeps Pepsi. It's not
Right.
Peepsy. That's the problem.
Right. Like, again, just they completely... How do you fumble the bag that bad?
Okay. I think some of y'all know. I do try to be open about this. I am okay. I am in the upswing, but I've had a rough couple mental health weeks. It's been a not great time. I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. But to like help counter a bunch of this, I started rewatching The Good Place because that is what I do with my life. And she's like, clam chowder's disgusting. It's just warm ocean milk with dead animal croutons. And I'm like, yes. Now I can't eat it anyway. It makes me die because shellfish don't like me.
I love clam chowder. It's delicious. It's so good. I don't care how bad your clam chowder is, I will probably love it. Like, I have gone to restaurants and ordered like Cisco's finest, worst clam chowder, and I was like, that was an excellent chowder.
So you would like the clam chowder fountain in the middle of...
Yeah. Like I wouldn't have coffee in the morning. I'd be out there with like my bathrobe and my newspaper and a coffee cup, and I'd just be like, just that image is really gross. Like it tastes good, but is that a crime? Whoa.
I'm very much on the New York side of the New York/Boston divide, but New England clam chowder is better than Manhattan every time.
Amen.
Except for Manhattan clam chowder. That is nonsense. Everyone's on the heck Manhattan clam chowder. I developed an allergy so young that I'm not actually sure I know the difference.
One's red and gross, and the other one's, good.
Okay. I only had the white creamy one.
Yeah, that is the New England.
I do
But
like a Manhattan, though.
But you can have chowder without the clams.
I don't mind
Like-
corn chowder. It's fine.
Right.
It's not great, but it's fine.
Chowder. No, God, I'm gonna be walking around saying chowder at like
We
3
went from
o'clock in the
peppa to
morning.
chowder.
Yeah, just ooey.
Did you know, I think I read this and I almost sent it to my friend. I may have sent it to Alicia. Today is Peppa from Salt and Peppa's birthday.
Oh wow.
Twitter learned me a thing. Thank you for hanging out, Neon Saline. Thank you for the follow. It was so great to chat with you. But yes, we have gone... I mean, we did... Okay, so congratulations us. We did cover all of the D&D Direct. So we actually got through that. So that's good. Good job, us.
Chowder.
We have completely derailed now, but I mean, is it really derailing when you finished the thing you were going to talk about?
No.
Okay.
We did a good.
So chat, while we are derailing, while we're discussing
Chowder.
clam chowder, anything else we need to discuss? So apparently some people have seen, because if you were an Amazon Prime member and you were near an AMC, you could have gone and seen the D&D movie on the 19th. I was in the middle of a move, so I did not, because I was actively losing my goddamn mind. However, I am going to see it on Friday. David, I believe you're going to see it on Saturday.
Yes.
Who else is seeing the D&D movie? Because
Dungeons
I would
and
like
Dragons film.
to say that we're going to discuss something else next time, but I promise you we're just going to talk about this is what's happening Tuesday next week.
Yep.
It's up in the air. Haven't been to a movie theater since May 2019. This might bring me back. Same. I have not. I don't remember the last movie I saw in a theater, but it was well before the pandemic because I just don't. I have anxiety, and sitting in a theater and not doing anything but watching a movie is very difficult for me unless I am super into the movie. And David knows I am not super into most entertainment. I'm just not. Like, no tea, no shade on anyone else. I'm just like, okay, that was fine. I guessed it way ahead of time.
Promare. I am unfamiliar with this film. I am going to Google it.
Last movie was Promare. Yes, I don't know this one either. I go see the new Thor.
Oh.
It was in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day.
Promare
That's fair.
is a 2019 Japanese animated film co-produced by Trigger and X-Flag. Trigger made something that I watched recently that was really good.
Thank you. It's a very good anime firefighter movie. Excellent. Oh. Boys want treats. That's why Gilmore is being pesky. Edgerunners?
Yes. Yes. Okay, mini rant about
Oh boy, buckle up, y'all.
Dear CD Projekt Red. I have a lot of respect for the things that you guys do. You dropped the ball with Cyberpunk. And I'm tired of people try to talk to me about No Man's Sky. Like, don't talk to me about No Man's Sky. And here's why. Here's why.
We got the.
If you sell me a product, let's say you sell me a burger, and you put ground beef on top of flour and slide it across the table at me, I'm gonna look at you and be like, I gave you $70 for this? I gave you crisp, like,
Who are you paying $70 to for a burger?
for video game.
But you would talk about burger.
I know. Listen, there are $70 burgers out there that are worth it.
That's fair.
But they wanted to cut Rebecca from the. Rebecca was my favorite kid. So people are like, I've read on the internet, multiple people have said, "Oh, Cyberpunk is like good now," and I'm like, dope. At release, it was unplayable. It was not a finished game. When I played it on PS4, it crashed on average once every hour. Because after the first couple of crashes, I started to keep track. And when I saw how many hours it took me to finish the game, and then like it didn't have like basic features that were in video games 10 years before, and so on, and so it wasn't just a bad game, it was an unfinished game. And it wasn't just like an unfinished like early access game. It wasn't a game that like, it wasn't a piece of software that worked. Like imagine if your Microsoft Excel crashed once an hour. Like the world
Imagine
economy.
if your Windows 11, I mean. What?
Right.
What?
So when I paid money for something, I wanted it at that moment. Like if I pay $70 for a hamburger and you got ground beef and flour and be like, listen, in a year this is going to be a great burger. I didn't ask for a burger in a year. I want a burger meow. And so if a year from now you're like, hey, I got this great burger here, and yes, they've worked on it tirelessly, just like the No Man's Sky team. And I will give the developers credit. However, as a consumer buying something from a company, you sold me a bill of goods that was not true. You sold me something on false advertising. And so I'm not going to support your endeavors because I've been bamboozled. Okay? Like Plymouth Rock landed on me when I bought this game. And so I finally sit down and watch Edge Runners because multiple people have been like, listen, it's good. I'm like, you don't understand. I've watched a lot of anime. I've watched a lot of bad anime. It doesn't need to be good, but I'm not sure I want to. And they're like, no, but it's actually good. So I sat down, I watched Edge Runners, and ooh-wee, did it not need to be like sad. Like I understand that like Cyberpunk is the thing, and that, you know, it's dystopian, but like it didn't need to be like sad. Like I didn't need to see this man naked looking at the urn that his mom was in the middle of the night, like multiple times, just sitting there reflecting upon his life. But no, Rebecca is my favorite character. I don't care. Oh, look, there goes my camera.
It's like, that's enough.
And what makes me angriest about Cyberpunk, about Edge Runners, is it makes me want to play that stupid game again, and I don't want to give it a second chance. I don't. Like, I love Keanu, I love CD Projekt Red, and there was so much about Cyberpunk to love. If only they had managed to stuff all of it into a game that worked, into software that didn't collapse under its own weight. The end.
All right. It is almost 8. I have a kitten who's demanding treats. Not dinner, just treats. Enjoy Lighthouse Keeper's Apprentice. Anything else we need to cover? Anything else we need to discuss? I'm going to shout out again. I will not be doing my usual video game stream on Thursday. I will be doing it instead on Wednesday, and maybe even starting a little early because I've got a couple hours off early that day. We will see. Please remember, this weekend, April 1st and through April 2nd, a 24-hour Mercy Road TTRPG stream for charity over on Saucefire's channel, featuring amazing people right here, Rex and Tyran and Candace and friends of the show, David Tilstra and Calamity and Urban Bohemian and Holly Conrad. Who am I missing? Who else? I know JD will be moderating. It will be Rex on camera.
Oh, Rex, I will be there. I will be watching you. The shoe will be on the other foot.
But yes, amazing folks. Please go. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be hard to miss. Anytime afternoon on the 1st through noon on the 2nd. If you're just like, what should I be doing? Go over to Saucefire's channel. Just do it. It's fine. Especially at the super late at night when Sauce is actively losing his mind. It will be great. You can see me. You can't see me. You can't even hear me on the Emergency Power Podcast this coming Wednesday, but that's fine. The next 2 episodes that are coming out are going to be there's some it only took 20 episodes, but my character finally started revealing some secrets. And I'm so excited for everyone to finally figure out what the heck is up with my character. Reminder, if you listen to podcasts, check out Good Pods. I am not affiliated with them other than they're doing a TTRPG feature this week. So they have been actually really awesome at helping promote the Emergency Power Podcast. And there's all sorts of TTRPGs. All your regular podcasts are there. It's a way that you can just listen, rate, and have conversations with the creators. So that's pretty cool. I just saw on Twitter that Piper is going to be GMing. I believe it's tomorrow. Wednesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, is going to be doing Cyberpunk Shattered Dawn. So please go check him out. Piper is an awesome GM, and did a great performance on Godplane, and I miss playing with him so heckin' much. Yes, I think that's what we got. We have to find someone to raid. Who do we got today? Do we want some? Should we do some Legend of Zelda with Xander?
Absolutely. Because I managed to avoid talking about the new Zelda game this whole time.
This was tight. This was close. So, as always, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. It was great to see you. We'll be back next week to talk about the D&D movie and, who knows, maybe other things. You all are wonderful. Be good to yourselves. Be excellent to others. David, do you have any outro? Anything else you want to do before I flip us over?
Nope. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
That doesn't narrow down much.
Right?
Alrighty. Thank you all. Be good to yourselves. Be excellent to others. Thank you for hanging out, and I will see you Wednesday. And if not, we'll see you Tuesday. Bye, y'all.